In establishing who your audience is, it's very important to understand how they want to hear from you. Now, content is king, and your brand story is king, so understanding who you are as an organization is important first. Selecting the media to send your message to those audiences has to be done in conjunction with understanding how those audiences want to hear from you. So while one audience may say, I really want to visit you on Facebook and hear the latest information about what's happening with your organization, another audience may say, I really like getting this newsletter in my mailbox. Now, a healthy combination of tactics that cover different types of technology and media is usually the right answer. So some combination of print and electronic media is usually what people will land on. In this day and age, I think it is vitally important for a nonprofit to have some web presence. Now, how large that site needs to be and how it functions, I think is a very good question to ask. It does not need to have every shred of content that you've ever produced on the site, but I think it does need to be something that is consistent, targets your audiences as you've outlined them, and is messaged in a way that communicates your value proposition effectively. Social media is certainly here to stay and has to play a role, a critical role, in a communications effort. I do think that although it can feel intimidating and seem like it takes a lot of time, once a nonprofit gets the hang of how to do these updates or selecting the right social media channel that is a good fit for their organization, it should become and can become very much a natural part of their work or their daily work. You certainly need someone, it takes time, you certainly need someone who's dedicated to posting. But in creating content that's live, that's dynamic, and that's relevant to your stakeholders, I think organizations do have an obligation to provide that real-time content to their audiences. That doesn't mean daily posts. That might mean weekly posts. It doesn't mean you have to be post happy, but it does mean that you need to understand that this is another important channel that people expect you to deliver content through. Now, the social media channels will change over time. Facebook is a critically important one right now. YouTube is very important, and you can imagine that with certain nonprofits, having their own YouTube channel would be very beneficial for, in fact, sharing presentations, sharing how-tos, sharing performances. So again, picking the right channel for your audiences and for your organization is important, but social media is here to stay and has to be considered as part of an overall communications effort. I think leveraging volunteers and or leveraging young people who are willing to take on that task is a wonderful option for nonprofits to consider.